off, I was able to find the pure water for one thing. Or was that the previous stream? But either way, also found the source of the plague in the West End.
For as long as I've been a member, I've never seen so few vampires attending the club nights.
And... come on, look at the camera. Well, his eyes don't seem as visibly red as mine do.
Elizabeth, what are you doing here?
I've been formally asked to witness your triumph, my dear. After all, isn't it the natural role of a woman to support her man in victory?
But it's you who insisted I join the Ascalon.
Please forgive my giddiness. I'm just overcome by the thrill of finally being allowed within these hallowed halls.
You certainly
buy
have an
that one.
inquisitive mind. It's quite something. Elizabeth Ashbury, only you can make me smile in these difficult times.
And the same to you, Jonathan Reed. Now go have your little chat with the chairman. I can see he's practically bursting to hear your report.
Okay. As much as that isn't exactly a surprise, it's still very abrupt.
Lord Redgrave can play with the brave all he wants, but I won't put a foot outside until the Pre-Wen end their hunt.
Let's see. Nope. His sclera are nice and clear. Oh yeah, that's to the back alley. So yeah, it's only for Jonathan that the red eyes take effect, which is... I understand probably like limitations of the engine or maybe just not thinking it through entirely, but yeah. Oh, here we are.
Welcome back to the Ascalon Club, Lancebearer. Please tell us the good news. Have you put an end to the epidemic?
My hypothesis was correct. Doris Fletcher was the source of the contagion in this part of town. She was probably the first to be infected.
And you cleansed her before the hunters, I've been told. Well done, Dr. Reed. You thrust your lance and pierced the very heart of the corruption.
Some questions remain because
But
who
some
infected
questions
her?
remain.
The important thing is, we
And
won
I'm convinced
a
that
major
it was her
battle for
mother,
survival
Harriet
of London.
Jones.
For that, we salute you.
Thank you, my lord.
Now, I have another task for you. One of the utmost importance. Perhaps even more so than the previous.
I'm listening.
It's time for you to perform a most sacred duty for the club. I want you to recruit a new vampire.
Recruit a new vampire? Are you sending me on some sort of diplomatic mission?
Not exactly. I want you to make Aloysius Dawson the Ekon he deserves to be.
I'm not sure I'm the best candidate for such a task.
I can hear the hesitation in your voice, Dr. Reed. I admire a man of principles. But in this matter, there is more at stake than your moral comfort.
It's not a moral question, Lord Redgrave. It's the responsibility of giving immortality to a man I barely know.
Nonsense. Aloysius has been a member of the
Yeah,
Ascalon for years.
you know him.
This is but the fruition of a long-held plan.
How would you like me to proceed?
Aloysius is waiting for you at the Dawson estate. Once the deed is done, I'll join you there to celebrate this momentous occasion.
Before I go, I have a few questions.
All right.
I can't
I'm
imagine that Redgrave's setting me up here.
You invited Lady Ashbury. Wouldn't that be breaking one of your cardinal rules? No women allowed.
Not allowed as members, no.
Yeah.
But considering the circumstances, I thought you'd like to have her here to witness your triumph.
So it's a temporary admittance, then.
Something of a bargain, considering the crisis we're currently facing.
Why Aloysius Dawson?
Because he is about to die. And he just may be the most influential man in England. After me, of course.
Did he choose me?
No, I did. My decision is very recent, to say the least, but it is entirely mine.
And if something goes
Does he
wrong...
know I'm coming?
He can't wait to become your progeny, Dr. Reed. Especially now that you have shown how strong your lineage is through your sister.
I'm not...
How would you like me to proceed?
Don't worry. Aloysius has had many years to prepare himself. He has studied our kind for decades.
Is there any danger?
Our blood alters a mortal body so deeply that some don't survive the metamorphosis. They die for good. But Mr. Dawson has been preparing himself for a long time.
So shall I just let him drink my blood?
Yes. Aloysius will gratefully sup on your blood. His heart will slow, then stop. But he will rise again as one of us, an immortal.
Okay, I was about... And yeah, his eyes are nowhere near as red as mine.
Goodbye.
Perhaps we should change some of the club's rules
Wait.
if we survive all of this. We need to soften some of our laws concerning redheads. Have you heard the rumors of some horned vampire revealing himself and singing obscure songs around the city?
Okay, at least
Good
those
evening,
two do
Dr.
look
Reeves.
different.
Have a drink and enjoy this night, for it could be our last.
Oh,
Are you all right,
Okay.
Jonathan?
Lord Redgrave has just ordered me to turn Aloysius Dawson. To make him my progeny.
I see. And how do you feel about this?
very put upon.
I'd like your advice on the matter.
The real question here is, why has his lordship given you this task?
Do you think it's some sort of trap?
Do you really want to know what I think about this?
I do, yes.
To make an immortal of a soulless blackguard like Aloysius Dawson will only lead to a disaster for London. The man is already dead inside.
Should I refuse? Perhaps politely suggest that Lord Redgrave turn the man into a vampire himself.
Don't you dare, my dear. According to what I've recently discovered, his lordship could kill you for even broaching the subject.
Really? Why?
I've recently found proof that the Earl of Bristol is of lesser lineage and only capable of creating skulls.
Oh ho ho. Okay, so he wasn't actually the progeny of William Marshall.
Please tell me more about your recent investigation.
As long as you lower your voice.
Are you sure your information about Redgrave is correct? He says he's the progeny of the great knight William Marshall, who lived some 9 centuries ago.
That's a lie. Lord Redgrave is unable to create anything but skulls, if the poor souls survive at all.
How can you be sure the information was correct?
I made the acquaintance of a most interesting informer while investigating your maker, from whom I learned the truth about Lord Redgrave.
Why so vindictive? You suddenly sound like you're angry.
Forgive me, Jonathan. I hate myself for it, but I feel such pride in my discovery. I'm afraid I just can't help it.
Which is?
He did serve William Marshall, and yes, the blood he covets as a token does truly belong to that legendary knight. But he was never his progeny. His lineage is not so noble.
So either she talked to William Marshall himself, which I doubt because I'm fairly convinced that he's Jonathan's maker, or she talked to his actual progenitor.
What would you have me do about Dawson?
The man is dangerous. Did you know he
Yep.
plans to build a wall to separate the healthy rich from the sickly poor? Do not make him your progeny.
What would you do?
The man's dying already. Let the Reaper harvest
Problem
the rotten
is, he's the
fruit
heart of
that is his soul.
What would happen if I made Dawson an Ekon like myself?
You would add a powerful immortal into a suffering world. An immortal who already craves authority.
Maybe I could teach him control, like you taught me. Lead him down the right path.
Mr. Dawson spent his life searching for a way to cheat death. I'm sure he has spent decades dreaming of how he'd spend eternity as a tyrant.
Goodbye for now, Elizabeth.
Goodbye, my dear. Please, be careful.
Okay. Heartbeats there too, but is it just me or do 3 of the lords look very similar? I mean, that's not exactly great design. I hate to say it, but it is true. Okay, so I've got to try figuring out where the rest of the residents of this district are. And incidentally, I've only got about till 8 p.m. Eastern time to stream, so roughly 50 minutes from now.
It looks like vampires have to obey Mendel's laws when producing progeny. Powers pass from one generation to another. That's why Dawson wants me to sire him.
But anyway, I've got dinner in the oven, so that's why. But, let's see. Yeah, I'm still missing 4 people, and one of them is... No, I'm missing 6 people. Yeesh. Let's see. First and foremost, I'll head back to his wife's, because I think I've got new information that I'd be able to use in conversation with her.
Hello, Venus.
Hello, John. I remember when Mary came here with her husband and her son. What do you need?
What can you tell me
okay,
about
I can ask
Aloysius
around
Dawson?
about him.
I never met the man. I know Clarence tried to contact him recently, but I don't know why.
Okay.
Venus, why do you worry so much about your family's reputation?
Everyone laughs at Clarence now. And they avoid me because they believe I share his insane opinions. I'm a leper in my own community.
Tell me about Clarence's obsession with vampires.
It drives me so crazy it makes my stomach hurt. I was so relieved to have him back. But I quickly realized he'd lost his mind in France.
I understand your irritation, Venus. But you have to accept the trauma Clarence endured on the battlefield.
The question is simple, Jonathan. Is my husband mad? Yes or no? Do vampires exist? Or is Clarence a lunatic?
The important question is, what do you really think of your husband?
I'm tough, Jonathan. He should have told me the horrors he witnessed, however appalling it was, instead of inventing a fantasy about blood-drinking monsters.
So you don't believe Clarence?
If poor Mary, bless her soul, had tried to convince you of the existence of bloody vampires, would you have believed her? Seriously?
What do you think about Clarence squandering
dripping
his
with
fortune
irony.
on his obsession?
Soon we'll be poor, and forced to sell the house. Where will we go? In which filthy, infected part of town will we end up? I'm so afraid. At least you survived the Great War.
Yeah, honestly, that part I really do sympathize with her on. Trying to see whether there's any items inside that I have not collected that might give a hint or two for them. Oh yeah, locked.
It's locked, all right.
I think it would probably take killing one or the other to get the other hint, but
When Mary came
yeesh.
here with her husband and her
Not
son.
doing that. Okay, here's a...
Good evening, old chap. Are you all right?
I won't
Clarence,
lie to you,
okay.
Johnny.
What can you tell me about Aloysius Dawson?
Well, I've discovered he's quite versed in occult knowledge. So I wrote him a letter asking him to finance my research about vampires. He never responded.
Hopefully
need
you
some-
weren't upfront about why.
Good evening, Miss Ashton.
And good.
What do you know about Aloysius Dawson?
That man is a tyrant. The embodiment of greed and selfishness. All I despise about this country.
Goodbye.
Okay.
He's been quite busy.
Will I be able to find anyone that has a positive word to say
Good
about him?
evening, Doc.
So, did you try the restaurant I recommended?
Oh, yes. I can't thank you enough, my dear doctor. Exquisite.
How?
But expensive. But what is money made for, if not for little pleasures?
Don't you think your money could be better spent in these difficult times?
Your words hurt, Doctor. I thought you and I were friends. But since you ask, I'm rich enough to finance my passions. And various charities across the city.
Nice to hear.
Perhaps my words were too
Well,
harsh.
let's see if I can find
Please
evidence of
forgive
that
me if
or
I've
against it.
upset you.
Oh, no harm done. After I die, all my fortune will go to the suffering people of the East End. Until then, I aspire to live the most pleasant life possible.
Okay. Nice to know.
I may have...
Let's see. Good handle part. That, oh yeah, aluminum part was what I was thinking of. White phosphorus. Okay, now we're talking.
Good evening.
Do you know anything about a man called Aloysius Dawson?
He used to be a big spender. One day, he sent 3 houseboys to buy all the beluga in my shop. For his brother's birthday, if I remember correctly.
I see. Anything else? Less gastronomic, perhaps?
I really can't say. The man is filthy rich. But you know that, of course.
Goodbye.
Yeah, I'm gonna dig up as much information as I can regarding him first. I'll head over to Whitechapel, see if anyone, well, probably just in here that people will be able to talk about him. Or would even know to talk about him, really.
Support the equality between men and women.
Okay, I'm trying to figure out where... like, whether there are any other houses I can knock on, doors I can enter. Oh yeah, I might be able to ask my mother and Avery about him.
I cannot enter.
Okay, there's got to be a way in because there's something you can collect over there. Yeah, garbage can lid. Oh boy. And by the way, I will not be using any more walkthroughs. It was literally just for the one.
Those clever rodents are cautious now. Oh, they won't approach.
I need to find information about Aloysius Dawson. What can you tell me about him?
Don't trust him. He's looking for the same thing I was. Rats No, not rats. Something else.
Okay,
I don't remember.
she got her mind addled
must
by a
go.
vampire.
Goodbye, Miss Billow.
That much is really obvious, at this point especially. Let's see, nothing. Oh yeah, already been in there. Gotta admit, the violin can get a little overbearing, I think would be a good word for it. Actually, I'm gonna head back into the Ascalon Club and see whether I can get more information out of Lord Redgrave.
Right to vote is only the first step.
Probably not, but worth a shot. And maybe not anything pertinent either. Oh yeah, I might want to... I completely forgot I had those swapped out.
We repelled the intruders for now. But how long before they
Understandably, you have questions.
Oh, okay. I've exhausted everything there. I think I'll head back to the hospital and... I'm mulling over whether I want to rest or not. But I will be asking about... Or I will be seeing if I can talk to, say, Dr. Sewins about Aloysius. Or Aloysius. Still not sure which pronunciation it is. I'm not sure the game's sure either.
Step away, sir.
Yep, doing it. Oh, Whitechapel. Whoops. Let's see. Oh, okay. Xiaoshun needs a cold remedy. Could have sworn I gave her one, though.
When science fails you, this
Good evening,
elixir
then.
will
I'm
afraid-
give you faith again.
A gun?
Its effectiveness has been proven by many. Even the flu is no match for the swine.
Oh. Okay, where's Xiaoshun? Oh, here we are.
Good evening.
晚上好, Dr. Reed.
How do you feel?
I don't...
You should recover quickly after taking this.
Thank you, Doctor.
Goodbye.
And I'm really certain that they didn't mean to keep her labeled as woman in distress for conversations. And yeah, I can't speak to a single one of them about... or Aloysius. Alright, I did find a third Braille novel, but... Braille recipe, I think? Okay, so apparently that would not be enough to see you through everything. Oh, you dick. There we go. plus side, I now have a full blood meter.
Over there! There's one of them
Well, that was quick. Hey, I'd have been perfectly content just walking by you. Like that, for example. Okay, so I'm now back at the hospital. Odds are Seawinds is unfamiliar with them, but worth a shot.
What news, Jonathan? I've heard you've now joined the vampire elite of London.
Okay, so that
Did
updated.
Elizabeth tell you?
So it's Elizabeth now. My. Things are moving quickly. I turn my back for a moment and away you go.
I may have found the source of the contagion. Doris Fletcher, the actress. Thankfully, in the end, she was destroyed by fire.
Really? Oh, please, do tell me more.
Doris was a heavily mutated Skal. Almost a new breed entirely. It's as if the disease had completely altered her mind and body. Highly contagious.
As if the disease had taken control of her will?
Yes. Once a beautiful and brilliant woman, she became motivated by hate alone.
Oh, she was a beauty. I met her when she visited the hospital to cheer up the sick. Too bad the fire destroyed her. But it was probably for the best.
Have you heard of similar cases?
No, I don't think so. Except
Yeah,
perhaps
Nurse Dorothy.
it reminds me of an old report from the Brotherhood. Well, more an article, really.
What was it about?
The author, a friar, referred to a rare form of contagion in a skull he observed during the Black Death. The carrier was always female. They called them Icors.
Have you seen Lady Ashbury recently?
Yes, she popped in yesterday. Told me about your new friends in the West End.
Just a courtesy visit.
Yes, and no. She was en route to the docks, I think, following a lead concerning your maker.
How's the situation at the Pembroke?
We're still holding out.
I'll
Always a pleasure.
Okay, and yeah, I did find the Ikers article somewhere. I thought there was something on the table. Must have been the glint of the candlelight.
Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
I don't think her facial hair
Goodbye, Nurse.
has popped in fully there.
Disgust on every street corner. The daily routine.
Yeah, right there. I think Doris Fletcher was her daughter. Which means the Harriet is, well, a source of the plague anyway. That would explain why she doesn't need to feed, because she's kind of feeding on the hatred and
Good
fear.
evening, Doctor.
Dr. Reed.
Or on the suffering of London itself.
Goodbye, Doctor.
Now, granted, for bitter irony, it would have been Elizabeth, but unless it can morph already existing vampires, I doubt it's her. That's behind any of it. Granted, doubt is not certainty, but still. Okay, I've got to find the source of that banging. Oh, there we go. Boy, that probably is not the best one to have spoiler.
Kill you! Bloody monster!
There we go.
Are you dead? Is it?
Yep, yes it is.
Over there! There's one of them vermin! You backflip, want some of that?
There we are. Let's see, that's down towards the docks. There's Ashbury's house. Or Elizabeth, I suppose, since we're getting familiar. Did I just one-shot him? Wait, what? Oh, yeah, that's the hideout.
He's fought! Over there! There's one of them vermin!
Yeah, that's up towards Whitechapel. Here's the theater. Not sure what's causing the droning. Well, I guess I'll go into the temple gardens themselves. Actually, what missions do I have in this area? Oh, yeah. West End.
Only the fast step. Support the equality.
Okay, no droning this time. Huh. That's odd. Let's see, garden itself. Because obviously there is a place, there is a way into the one area. As vague as that statement was. Into this room. But as to where, that's the question. Oh, and actually I should, well, for one thing, see what I can deconstruct here. Aluminum shards, plenty. Aluminum parts, though. Awesome. Okay, let's see what I can... Okay, that's fully upgraded. Oh, I don't have enough white phosphorus. Crap. Oh, I already did that one, apparently. Oh, there we go. And of course I'm one short. Hey, buddy. Let's see. I think I'll actually rest. Level up a bit. Well... No, not yet. Because I'm worried that resting will turn the clock forward on certain people I haven't met yet, and if they're in jeopardy, then
I think this passage could lead me close to Aloysius Dawson's mansion.
Oh. Wait, what? Okay, so apparent... Okay, I've got to go around and see why I would be having to take the passage there. Oh.
It's locked.
What the hell? Just a random locked chest there. Huh. Oh, and actually, where is his mother's? Come to think of it.
It's locked, all right.
Okay.
I should find another way to get into the neighborhood.
Fair enough.
This one's mine!
Boy, that was rather easy, honestly. That was weird. Well, thankfully the regen took over there. Alright, I think his mother's was on...
No
Ah,
longer!
crap.
It's on to us! Fuck, it's fast!
There we go. Okay, yeah, that was where the...
Crush the leech, boys! Over there! One of them burn!
There we go. Wait. Seriously? Let's see. Coleman and Sons. Okay, I know his mother's was somewhere around here. Actually, no, it was going back to there that I figured. There we are, on the left here. Not this particular one, but... There it is, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. Okay, let's see if Avery has anything to say regarding his... regarding Aloysius.
Yes, Mr. Jonathan.
Aloysius. Yep.
What can you tell me
Well.
about Aloysius Dawson?
Not much, sir. Mr. Dawson's house used to be a good house, with many servants. I heard he fired them all recently.
To prepare for his transition, at least.
Goodbye.
Of course.
And of course, there's always the chance that he just won't survive the transformation. Like, even with all his preparations.
Hello again, Mother.
Jonathan, back already.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Oh! Did she leave me... Small key. Aubrey Reed. Or... Okay, Aubrey is his mother then. So a key to her office was just left on a plate on the table for some reason. Oh no, his father. I forgot Aubrey is one of those... My dear and beloved John, when you receive this letter, you will be 35 and I'll be long gone. I feel a little silly.
I remember Sunday.
Here we are. When you receive... I feel a little silly writing you this first letter that you won't read for a few years. I struggled for a long time about how best to write you this, until I remembered the puzzle and riddles I invented for you when you were a boy. Oh, how you love to solve those enigmas. Well, I found it would be a good idea to propose to you one final game. It will probably be less rewarding. No candies or exotic treasures for you if you decipher this game, the game this time. But a greater treasure, perhaps. The truth. This is my only attempt for you to explain why I chose to leave my family without an explanation. If you want to know why, simply play my little game. It's really up to you, my son. Rest assured that I love you. I promise my family was and still is everything to me. I remember the first time I held you and your sister in my arms. My treasures, my jewels. To see you grow up, play and laugh filled my heart with joy every time I went back to our home. I could have killed to protect you. My son, my daughter, my wife. But fate found me in the end, and I had to make a tough decision. The worst was to disappear without a word. I decided to do it anyway, and soon I'll be gone for good. I don't ask for forgiveness, but for understanding. If you want to know more, all you have to do is remember how happy we were back in those days. If you want to find the next message, think green grass and tall trees on sunny days.
It walks in the park.
So, Temple Garden. That one's rather straightforward. So walks in the park means go to the garden. Granted, that kind of sucks out some of the dramatics of it. Oh. Oh, good God. Okay. That's better. Oh yeah, the restaurant. Well, restaurant and the, I'm trying to think what it was exactly. The pure water. There we are.
It's locked.
So is there a way to open that one? I'll have to take a gander at some point. Okay. Actually. Oh yeah, I have. Alright, so straight into the garden. Oh, details. I'm thinking either creditors, or possibly vampires himself. Unlikely, sure, but... Actually, it could have been Aloysius Dawson. Or Aloysius. Oh! Oh, shillings. Okay. We are. Oh, yeah, the little lockbox that I've... Maybe? And I did find it, but I'm not sure whether that will actually be it. I think it was up here, if I recall right. Yep, in this little alcove. Yep. My dear son. Oh.
I had almost...
This is my second letter for you. If you find this one, it means you'll probably have shown the first part to your sister Mary and to my dear Emmeline. I think it's a good thing you don't keep to yourself what you discover, but I leave that for you to decide. Do you remember our long walks in this park? Your mother taught you your alphabet under these trees. I hid so many wonderful treasures for you and Mary in this park. You were both so clever, so brilliant. I've always known you'd both become great people. I've always been proud of you. I was never able to conceal my pride when I was asked what you wanted to be. He'll be whatever he wants. Your mother was convinced you would be a great artist like her. You always liked to read and write. I still keep your very first poem, like I keep Mary's first drawing. When you chose to follow medical studies, your mother was sagacious enough to cover her trepidations and her worries. Me? I was happy you did not become a dull banker like me. When you told us you wanted to pursue a career in medicine, carrier, to improve life for all without consideration of wealth, I knew we, as your parents, had taught you the most important lesson of all, to respect each and every soul for what they are, not what they have. If you want to know more, all you have to do is remember which hospital you chose to apply for your first internship.
It's forgotten I applied for a position at Pembroke. That was so long ago.
Okay, I guess I'm going back to Pembroke anyway. Okay, can't break those apart. Not sure why I've still got my sword out, but... there we go. Are there other doors in here that I should have been able to open and just neglected to?
Right to vote is only the
Oh.
first step.
Okay, apparently I live right next door to
Support the equality
the Gourmand. And about 10 minutes left in this session. I'm moving. Oh crap, I keep going the wrong direction. Yeah, I know, no place for me. I'm moving. Oh crap. This is the completely wrong direction. So there and then left.
Women of all countries unite! Support the equality between men.
Feels like to live an ordinary life.
Oh, okay, he might know something about him.
Good evening, Mr. Kimura.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
Do you know
I completely
anything
forgot
about
he was
a man
sitting here.
called Aloysius Dawson, by any chance?
Well, I've never met the man personally, but I invested money in some of his companies when I came to London. A brilliant businessman.
Goodbye.
Which says
Mr.
nothing for his character. That's what I'm
Anything
trying to
connect
get
me
a
to
sense
this
of.
city anymore?
There we go. Trying to think where there was a locked box in the Pembroke, though. I know there was one, but I can't recall where. I do have to chuckle at that. Screw it, I'll just go along here and then the waterway. Take out a few more boxes in the meantime. Probably not going to be able to ask anyone here about him.
Are you concerned about the conditions here in London?
Not really. Sick people, men in arms, fighting every night. I already faced all this during the war.
Goodbye.
Fair point. Now, where would it be, though?
So many deaths. And what of my own life?
Obviously, it's on the hospital grounds. I doubt it's gonna be here, but...
It's
Nope.
locked, all right. It's locked, all right.
Okay. And I think this will be the last thing I do for this particular session. And I've still got to let my meal cool one. Oh, hang on.
It's locked.
Oh. Well, there was a reasonable bet. Here we are. My dearest child, this is my last letter for you. I chose to hide it in the Pembroke Hospital. Do you remember how disappointed you were when your application was rejected? I'd never seen you so upset. For days you did not say a word. This was the first time I realized the darkness you had in you, my son. A black stone embedded in your heart, hidden to all, which I sometimes saw in your sister, too. I feared for you both, for I perfectly knew what it meant to fill this gloomy mood. The dark side of the Reeds, the reason why I must know now that I am condemned. I'm sick, my son. The diagnosis is irrevocable, and death will come soon. I refuse to be seen like this by those that I love. This is my fault and my decision. You're so far away now, learning with this Dr. Carroll in Paris how to transfuse blood to save patients. Already thinking about how to improve the method you've helped to create. I'm so proud of you, my son, but you can't save me. I won't be Aubrey Reed, the dying banker surrounded by his friends and family, unable to leave his bed. I won't stand it. I don't accept it, so I left. Just like you left us to become the great surgeon you are destined to be. The great surgeon I never wanted to see next to me, looking at me knowing I will die soon. Keep on studying, my son. Become whoever you're destined to be and do it for yourself, not for your old father who loves you. I've taken all the necessary measures to protect you, my family, of any dangers to...
Southwark.
Come, I want you all to remember me as I was, not as I'm about to be. I leave, for I love you, my pearls and jewels. I do it because I have this dark mood in me I hid from everyone as long as I could. In a few days I'll go where I stood when you left us for France. There I'll leave a last gift for you. There I'll vanish, never to come back. Farewell, Jonathan. I wish you to be as happy as I've been with you all these years. Kiss my Mary and my Emmeline for me. Take care of them. Farewell, my dear boy. Believe me ever, my dearest John, your devoted father.
My departure for France as a promising student. My return as a brilliant surgeon, about to be killed. Transformed.
Okay, and on that note, my meal is now beeping, so I will see you next time. Thank you for joining me.